Yes, we welcome you back. The channel is PSSB, Physical Sciences Silver Bullet, with a mirror chart here. Then we are looking at this question. It says that define concentrated acid. Yeah, what is it? A concentrated acid is the acid which contains a large amount or large number of moles of the acid in proportional to volume of water. Yeah, so that's that. Then comes this question. Define dilute acid. What is it? Is the acid which contains small number of moles of the acid in proportional to volume of water. Yeah. Then comes this question. It says, consider the two acids below. Okay. One is sulfuric acid and two is hydrochloric acid. Then the question says, which of the acid is diprotic? Okay. Which of the two is diprotic? The answer is sulfuric acid. Yeah, then comes this question saying, which of the acid is monoprotic? The answer is hydrochloric acid. Yeah, then comes this question. It says, define monoprotic acid and explain using one of the two acids above. Okay. So, what is a monoprotic acid? A monoprotic acid is the type of acid for which during ionization, 1 mole of the acid releases 1 mole of hydronium ion. So that is it. The example is hydrochloric acid. So if you have hydrochloric acid here and it's aqueous, if it ionizes, what are you going to get? You're going to get hydrogen ion plus chloride ion. Okay, if you want to show water, you can also say that it is HCl plus water giving you hydronium ion plus chloride ion. Either way, this is what we see. We are seeing that what you have here is 1 mole of hydrochloric acid, and what you have here is 1. That's why you call it monoprotic. 1 yields 1. Meanwhile, for this side, here is 1 and here is 1. So for monoprotic, 1 mole of the acid ionizes to give or to liberate 1 mole of hydrogen ion or hydronium ion. Yeah, then comes this question, says, define diprotic acid and explain using one of the examples above. Okay, so what is a diprotic acid? A diprotic acid is the type of acid which during ionization, 1 mole of the acid ionizes to release 2 moles of hydronium ion or 2 moles of hydrogen ions. Yeah, that is that. The example is sulfuric acid. If you look at sulfuric acid, this is what you have. You have the acid. Okay, if you consider it to be in water, this is what we get. What we get is going to be 2 hydronium ion. That is after 2 stepwise ionization, and that. So that's the reaction. Or you can just ignore water and write it like H2SO4, ionizing to give you 2H plus SO4 2 minus. So let us analyze this reaction. The number you have here is 1. Meanwhile, the number you have here is 2. So 1 mole of sulfuric acid ionizes to give you 2 moles of hydronium ion. The sum applies this side. The number here is 1, and this is 2. So 1 mole of sulfuric acid ionized to give you 2 moles of hydrogen ions. So such an acid which does that, we call it diprotic. Di means 2. Yeah, then comes this question. It says, calculate the concentration of hydronium ion or hydrogen ions in each of the solution below. Okay, and this is the solution. The first one is 2 moles per cubic decimeter of HCl. Okay, you need to know that what is expressed here is concentration. So we're having the concentration of HCl as 2 moles per cubic decimeter. But what does the question want? The question is looking for the concentration of hydronium ion. How do you approach this question? Okay, what you do is you establish the mole ratio. First of all, you look at how hydrogen chloride ionizes. So it is hydrogen chloride ionizing in water to give you hydronium ion plus chloride ion. Okay? But then you need to remember that it's balanced. So the number you have here is this one. So this is the relationship you are trying to establish. The relationship is between hydrochloric acid molecules and hydronium ions. But you're given the concentration of hydrochloric acid, so you put it here. It's going to be 2. Okay? But the ratio is 1 to 1. So which means that 2 is going to be to 2. So therefore, the concentration of hydronium ion is 2 moles per cubic decimeter. Yeah, then comes this one. It says calculate the concentration of hydronium ion in 2 moles of sulfuric acid. How do we deal with this one? What you do, you do the same stuff. You find the equation. So the equation is sulfuric acid plus water giving you hydronium ion plus sulfate ions. So you put 2 here to balance. The equation is balanced. But we normally advise students that if this one is a problem, you can as well use this. You can simply say sulfuric acid without water ionizing to give you 2H, because you have the 2 here, plus sulfate ion. This one is simpler and does not make the situation wrong. So if you feel you cannot handle this reaction of water, we advise you to use simply this one. Just split the sulfuric acid into ionizable hydrogen, which is this one, and the sulfate, which is that one. So when you come to this situation, what do we do? You have this one, the number here is 1, and the number here is 2. You have to remember that hydrogen ions are the same as hydronium ion, but these ones are in water. And remember, any acid actually is a solution, so water is always there. So what do we do? You check for what is given. You are given the concentration. You are given the concentration of sulfuric acid. So you put what you are given. And what is it? It is 2. Okay. And what are you looking for? You are looking for the concentration of hydronium ions or hydrogen ions, which is X. So when you reach this situation, what we normally tell learners is just cross multiply. These are directly proportional ratios. So when you cross multiply, you are going to get X, which is equal to 2 times 2, giving you 4. For what? It's the same units. So what are the units here? Moles per cubic decimeter.